Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you're having a great day. Got another high level replay for y'all between two players, so without further ado, let's take a look. Spawning as the blue pieces in the top left hand corner of the map. You know them, you love them. He's ready. And spawning in the bottom right corner of the map, playing as the red pieces, we have Teddy, who's opening up Bot Factory first. So I just recently found Bar, and I'm really excited to start playing it. I'm glad to see the franchise is kind of updating. This is a mod from Total Annihilation, I suppose. Should be available on Steam sometime soon. The game's in alpha, actually, free to play. If you go to beyondallreason.com, you can download the game for free and start playing. So come check it out. We're having a lot of fun. It's kind of why I'm casting these games. I'm a new player and just want to kind of a student of the game. Want to see how these top players play and try and get good. Get better at the game, I suppose. Randy opening up Grunt first here. Teddy opening up Engineer first. Into extra wind power. So he's going to be moving out this commander pretty soon, I suppose. He's just trying to assist his factory, get out another engineer. So Randy went Grunt first, so he's going to be moving across the map, trying to get some harass done. These Grunts are fast infantry bots. Great for harassing in the early game. They take out mexes very quickly. See Teddy moving outside of his base, expanding with his commander. He's just going mex, PD, 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 radar, I guess. Randy made a radar in his base, so look at that coverage. Pretty great on this map. Which, let's introduce the map. We have our players on Titan Duel, so pretty small map. We have this rather narrow corridor between these two rivers that kind of chokes the map off from rotation, so pretty narrow when you think about it. We have a little grunt versus grunt battle going on. And there's these two plateaus on either side of the map with these hydro deposits on it, which aren't super useful. I doubt both players will go for those at all. It's just interesting to see this kind of layout. This really flat open map, which I like that part. Definitely makes it easier to rotation, but I'm sure the longer the game goes on, it's going to be more and more difficult to make it around the map, edges of the map. So Randy finally moving out. He's taking this max, putting up some more radars and LTTs, just like Teddy. So kind of players mirroring each other. Randy moving south, Teddy moving north. A little grunt versus grunt battle. You do not want these guys running by in your base because they will take out the mexes super quick. You have 2v1 on the right side of the map. Randy's moving back, moving his own grunts into position. So you know what, you love it. It's a mirror matchup, guys, and usually the better player will win in a best of series. So you had the same units, they had the same cost, same range, same build time. So it's more about the decisions you make in these kind of games than it actually is, and what your units are and how they are, I suppose. Both players trying to expand, not really taking engagements. They're just poking and prodding, trying to find openings, trying to get run-bys, seeing where their opponent's units are at. I like these depressions here in the map. Sure that blocks line of sight fire. Have another grunt going down over here, trying to get run by. Randy too good. Not gonna let it happen. Yeah, we have these construction turrets out for Teddy already, so we have two just adding on build power. These are so useful. I love them. A little less vulnerable, less mobile than the engineer, but I believe they have more build power actually. Let's take a look. 80 build power. Turret's got 200, right? So almost 3 times the build power. Definitely helpful to get those up. Randy moving forward, he's gonna run into a turret. Can't fight those in the early game. They deal reasonably well with grunts, and he has his own grunts in position. Teddy has his own grunts in a position to try and prevent that run by from happening if Randy chooses to commit. If he doesn't, he just pulls back. Both players massing their grunts, trying to get their half of the map under control. Relatively equal. Teddy's moved up to this river. Randy's a little bit behind him. About equal numbers of grunts, about equal income. Teddy's at 24 mass income per tick, 400 power. Randy's at 20 mass income per tick, 350 power. So Teddy's a little bit ahead of this. Still early. Can check the statistics and see total model produced. Yeah, 400 ahead already, or sorry, 300 ahead for Teddy. So that does make a difference in this early game. I mean, 300 metal is, you know, another 10 grunts on the map. So looks like Aggravator's already coming out, these rocket bots. So these will outrange LTT turrets. If you're not familiar, all the T1 units, I haven't used them all actually. So, but these ones are pretty common. They're able to outrange these LTT turrets in this early game. So you'll see him move those into position. With players just posturing, moving their grunts out. And Randy has his own aggravators coming out. So he has the same thing in mind, just gonna take down these early game turrets and punch an opening for your grunts. So, ooh, loses a grunt to a rocket. That's not good. This is half health. So you can check this out. They definitely outrange these turrets. So the slow moving rocket's able to clean up those immovable turrets. We have Randy trying to take control of this little part. He's adding extra turrets, adding radar with his engineers. Looks like we might have an engagement here. Randy moving forward with his gun. She's trying to check out these aggravators, trying to control this position, protect his commander. He definitely does. His commander is relatively exposed. Pretty vulnerable in this game. They don't have the most health. They do have that D gun though, so he's gonna eat 3 rockets and drop him down to 71 HP. Not what you want is taking those rocket shots with your commander. Another player choosing to commit totally to a battle with their grunts. They're just massing up, doing the dance. We have Randy's own aggravators pushing back Teddy's commander, destroying these turrets, T1 turrets. Well, they can. Can't have your army standing still against these rocket bots. And we have another transition. Teddy's on vehicle plant. Don't see a vehicle plant quite yet for Randy. And those T1 tanks are going to make the difference in these battles. You have grunt versus grunts here. These lasers going off. Randy pushing back, Teddy moving forward. Trying to take out Teddy's northern map. Randy is still trying to secure his part of the map where Teddy has these extra mass capped. He's at 42, 40, 30 mass per tick. Randy's sitting at 24, so advantage going to Teddy. You can see almost 1k more mass produced. That just adds up. More grunts, more tanks. You already see these tanks coming out, these medium assault tanks. For Teddy. Definitely turn the tide in these battles. And in turn, Randy's producing his own vehicle plant, so he should be getting those tanks out on the field shortly. You see these aggravator rocket box still trying to deal with this expansion. Teddy's been mining off that for quite a bit of time. Randy's still trying to control his part of the map. Battle versus both players are dangerously close to each other. We see these grave robbers trying to soak up this reclaim field here. Teddy moving back, Randy trying to take an engagement, creating a little bit of reclaim for both players to try and capitalize on. Aggravators dealing with these LTTs. Slowly but surely. It looks like Randy finally cleaned up that northern expansion and these medium tanks moved in to deal with it. Grunt versus grunt battle, Teddy moving back. Randy pushing forward, trying to get control of this reclaim field. Definitely don't want that going to your opponent. If you're new to bar, it's definitely a mechanic in the game where your units leave mass on the battlefield or even corpses to be rezzed. So finally, Randy having these brute tanks in his army can see have these high health versus these grunts. They can tank the damage while the grunts do it. Got an engagement, a little out of position. Tank eating so many shots. Would have been nice for those grunts to be firing. And we have Teddy moving his own tanks in the middle, cleaning up these LTTs. You see how ineffective they are against them. They do so little damage. These high health tanks. Check out this battle, grunt versus grunt. We got got the advantage here. You can't stand in the line of fire of these turrets. Grunt versus grunt battles. You know which way that's going to go. And Teddy's able to clean up this middle part of the map with his tanks. He's going to roll down, flank this army. Teddy's not careful. Randy's not careful. He needs to pull back. That's what he does. So Teddy's just going to pull back, regroup. We have this big reclaim field that's going to be contested over here in a minute. Meanwhile, Randy able to secure that southern part of the map. Put up turrets, put up the nexus, and reclaim that. Move to that reclaim field with his commander. We have another battle starting. Tank versus tanks. Grunt versus grunt. Players just adding more mass to this reclaim field, making it more and more important. See how they're choosing to fight over this area. And these aggravators still up in the corner. He's gonna come down, take out that expansion. Randy moving in with his commander, still kind of exposed. They're dangerously weak. Uses the D gun, takes out 2 tanks. Trying to put up a turret. Trying to get control of this field. Teddy doing the same thing. He's just pushing more and more to the map. Just turret crawling. So we have about even number of tanks. We have just a couple grunts mixed into this army with Teddy. Randy actually reclaimed his bot factory. He just has a vehicle plant out now, so completely committing to these tanks. This is a natural progression of the T1 phase in this game. Take a look at the mass income. Randy's sitting at 28. Teddy's sitting at about same 28. So even on mass, you can see pretty close. 11 minutes in the game, just 1K more mass behind is the worst thing in the world. And we see those aggravators coming down off the mountain, pressuring this engineer, trying to get that mix up. Not gonna go down. Tank versus tank battle. Teddy pushing back, Randy moving forward, trying to get in range of this commander. Not sure if he's gonna be able to snipe it. Depot guns off, takes out 2 tanks, takes out another. Teddy moving back, dropping down to health, 50%. I don't think he's gonna go. He's going to retreat back to his turret defense. He's got this superior tank and bot force over here now. And we can see Teddy even adding on an air factory, so I'm sure we're going to see those shurikens coming out, those EMP paralyzer drones. And just zooming out, we can take a look at the map. Teddy has breached this middle part. He's able to rotate down, put pressure on this commander, forcing Randy to move back, and that's going to let Teddy move north. Take out these undefended turrets, but he's going to stay and fight. 5 tanks versus 6, and there's grunts in the middle. Just adding on that extra DPS, Randy has to pull back to his turrets, and Teddy's continuing to push forward. He can't stop it. You see those paralyzer drones coming out. These are so useful at taking out high-value targets, LTT, turrets. And these grave robbers coming in, trying to soak up this mass, trying to soak up that reclaim. Looks like Randy took a bunch of damage. I must have missed that little battle. Sitting at very low health. And Teddy moved north. He took care of these turrets, and he's going to be pushing into Randy's base and these paralyzer drones, just taking these tanks out of the fight. How do you stop these tanks? Getting dangerously close on top of the production of Randy. That's not what you want to have happen in the game this close. He's losing Lexes, he's losing power. This could be a real problem in a bar. Once your enemy gets inside your base, it can be hard to deal with the units that can move and shoot at the same time. You can't force them to stay and fight. Take a look at the middle. Randy just soaking up the mass. Trying to get control of the center, but really the problem is here. How do you deal with this run by? 3 tanks taking out Nexus, taking out wind turbines. Look at this. All this is going to go down. 1 goes down, 2 goes down. Teddy trying to gain control. He cleared out those aggravators. He's going to be sending an engineer up there. Randy was able to control his southern side. Trying to lock up the middle part of the map with these turrets, but we have another army grouping up here. Paralyzer drones, medium tanks, grunts. All while Randy is still trying to do it. Finally, this tank gets cleaned up, and we can just take a look at the main base here. No nexus, no power. Meanwhile, Teddy, 3 factories pumping out units. getting his commander healed up with that construction turret. And Teddy moving into the southern part of the map, clearing out this expansion. Look at these shurikens just taking out these LTs. They can't even fire. 3 grunts cleaning up a turret. Randy has to respond to this. He's just losing more income. Looks like Teddy is looking to sandwich here. Got grouping of armies in the middle and on that left side. Teddy moves south to protect that and leaves his commander wide open. Is he going to snipe him? D-gun goes off, takes out 4 guns, takes out 7. So many D-guns going on. Wow, that is quite a bit of mass. Took out that army pretty handily. You can see how dangerous that commander can be with that D-gun, but at what cost? Sitting at 23% health. 2 turrets trying to hold the line in this tank versus tank battle starting. Grunts moving in, still supplementing this army. I love the Grunts just continuing in with 15 minutes in the game. These Grunts still choke up shots, still do damage, so this T1 phase lasts a lot longer in this iteration of the game. If you guys are liking this game and want to see more, please like and subscribe. I'd appreciate it. I'll be posting videos every day. If you guys like bar content and want to see more high-level games, you should come back. We'll watch them together. Randy trying to get control of the center here. Not sure what he can do. He's down on income. He's lost his expansions. Commander's out in the middle of the map, isolated. Just has 6 tanks versus more than a dozen tanks and bots for Teddy. He's going to push in. Randy's coming down, trying to get that D-gun off, and Teddy pulls back, doesn't want to force a fight. I mean, the longer this game goes on, the more of an advantage he's going to be at. He doesn't have a clock on him. And he's going to be rolling towards the base again. Calls it, yeah. Randy taps out, calls GG. Can't stop another run by. He's going to lose his main base again. And that's the game. Wow, that was a good one. Thanks y'all for watching. See you again soon.